Hi, my name is Manus. I'm a clinical psychologist here at St. Michael's House. This is the latest in our CFT short series. Today, we're going to look at old, new brain interactions and one simple tool that you might be able to use to reflect on these interactions. In order to understand some of the ways of thinking and feeling in the world, it is useful to think about how our brains evolved. But it is also important to remember that as evolution happened, it left our brains in a bit of a mess. Our brains developed newer and more complex processes that were built on and interacted with older and more basic processes. What is the old brain? Well, our old brain developed over hundreds of millions of years of evolution, and as such shares the same structures as many other animals. Scientists refer to as having a reptilian brain, from which we inherit the basic survival drives of feeding, fighting, fleeing, and reproduction. Sometime later, about 200 million years ago, we developed the mammillary brain, or limbic system, which developed motivation to bond, care for our offspring, social communication, and play. We can think of the new brain as an altogether much more recent development. Some scientists say about 2 million years ago. This evolution began with our primates and allowed for more complex, strategic, and sophisticated thinking. This part of our brain allows for imagination, thinking into the future, and reflecting on the past. It even allows us to think about our thinking. This is sometimes called metacognition. While we know that sometimes new brain, old brain interactions can link together in helpful and coordinated ways, sometimes old, new brain interactions can link up in unhelpful ways. For example, at the moment we're getting lots of COVID messaging, which can lead to worry and in turn drive tension in our bodies. If cycles of this worry continue, it can lead to rumination, which in turn leads us to feel more anxious. If we're unsure how to respond or not in control, we can become self-critical. This can drive anger, and if this anger is turned inwards towards ourselves, it can lead to more cycles of self-criticism. What can I do if I am getting caught in one of these loops or cycles? First thing to remember is it's not your fault. This is how we are designed. But here's one thing you can do. You can begin to chart your loops. Notice if you're getting caught up in a loop, and this can allow you to step back and look at what is happening. When you step back, you can try this. Draw a triangle, put the loop at the top, myself in one corner, and a compassionate friend in the other. Imagine you are this compassionate friend for 1 minute. What might they say to you about this loop? Maybe think in terms of, what strength will they notice if you face this dilemma? What wisdom will they see in you to make a wise decision? And what courage will they notice for you to act in a good enough way? Over time, you might notice that this compassionate friend is your compassionate self. Hopefully, this video has given you some ideas about how to understand old, new brain interactions and how they can sometimes lead to unhelpful loops in our thinking. I also hope that it gives you some tools to step back, reflect on these processes and do something differently, but to do something differently in a compassionate way. I also hope that you can tune into the rest of the CFT short series to find other ways of thinking about difficult things.